Imagine being stranded on a tiny piece of Arctic ice with no way to call for help, no food to spare, and temperatures dropping far below freezing. Now imagine knowing that the ice beneath you is slowly breaking apart. This is exactly what happens to Emily. The story begins with Emily trapped alone in the middle of the Arctic Ocean. She had come there with her team to film a promotional video, but she separated from them for a deeply personal reason. Emily was carrying a small box containing the remains of her 7-year-old younger sister. Years earlier, her sister had died in a tragic accident. Before her death, Emily had promised that one day she would scatter her ashes from one of the most beautiful and remote places on Earth. Now she had finally come to fulfill that promise. But while preparing to release the ashes, Emily suddenly slips and falls. She loses consciousness, and when she wakes up, she realizes she is no longer on solid ground. She is drifting through the ocean on a small piece of broken sea ice. Her team is searching nearby, but they have no idea where she is. As the ice carries Emily farther away, rescue becomes almost impossible. At first, Emily manages to stay calm. She puts on a hat to protect herself from the freezing wind, eats some of her dry food, and carefully drinks the little water she has left. She quickly realizes that her supplies will not last long, so every decision becomes a matter of survival. Using a piece of paper and a magnifying lens, she focuses sunlight onto the paper and creates a small fire. She then melts pieces of ice to make drinking water. These simple tricks keep her alive, but the situation gets worse when she discovers her phone beneath the ice. The screen is badly damaged. It can receive a weak signal, but she cannot make a call. Then night arrives. A violent snowstorm hits the area, forcing Emily to hide inside a tiny emergency tent. The storm becomes so powerful that even the ice beneath her begins to crack. By morning, the piece of ice is even smaller. 2 days have passed since she became stranded. Emily is now fighting hunger, exhaustion, and extreme cold. She exercises to keep her body warm and eventually tries fishing with a hook from her backpack. But after waiting for hours, she catches nothing. Then a passenger plane flies overhead. Emily desperately waves for help, even though she knows the people inside probably cannot see her. Just when she has almost lost hope, her phone suddenly rings. Emily is overjoyed, believing the call is finally from the rescue team, but it isn't. Instead, the call comes from a salesman trying to sell her air conditioning. Emily desperately tells him that she is trapped in the Arctic and needs help, but he thinks she is joking and hangs up. Emily breaks down in tears. The next day, things become even more terrifying. Her shrinking piece of ice continues cracking apart, and the ocean keeps destroying it from underneath. At one point, she thinks she sees a ship in the distance. She desperately uses a mirror to reflect sunlight toward it. But when she looks again, the ship is gone. Emily realizes it was only a hallucination caused by hunger, exhaustion, and the cold. She eventually falls into the freezing ocean, but memories of her sister give her the strength to climb back onto the ice. Later, she encounters a polar bear cub and gives it some of her remaining food. When she spots the cub's mother approaching, she hides silently inside her tent and waits for the danger to pass. That night, the northern lights fill the sky. Despite everything, Emily takes a moment to appreciate their beauty. Wearing her snowsuit, she finally scatters her sister's ashes beneath the lights. Her promise is fulfilled. Later, the same salesman calls again. This time, he is not trying to sell anything. He tells Emily that he has lost hope in his own life. As they talk through the night, Emily shares the guilt she has carried since her sister's death. She remembers how her sister had died after being struck by lightning, while Emily was racing her outside during a storm. For years, Emily had blamed herself. Their conversation gives both of them something they desperately needed, someone willing to listen. The salesman eventually realizes Emily is telling the truth after seeing posts from her friends about her disappearance. He learns that the rescue team has already stopped searching because everyone believes Emily is dead. Emily begs him to tell them that she is still alive. Then a huge shipping container crashes into her ice floe, splitting it apart. Emily barely manages to jump onto the larger section, but she is badly injured. Her phone, diary, and remaining supplies fall into the ocean. Her situation seems hopeless. She becomes so hungry that when a fish finally appears beside her, she almost eats it. But instead, she releases it back into the water. Even in the middle of starvation, Emily cannot bring herself to kill it. Soon, she has no drinking water left. She tries seawater but immediately becomes sick. Then rain begins to fall, giving her a final chance to collect fresh water. The next morning, the ice beneath Emily is almost completely melted. With no food and no hope left, she finally gives up and steps into the freezing ocean. But then she hears something, a helicopter. At first, Emily thinks it is another hallucination, but this time it's real. The salesman had told others that Emily was alive, prompting the rescue team to search the area again. Against all odds, they find her and bring her safely home. After recovering, Emily returns to the place where her sister died. Standing there, she finally says goodbye and asks for forgiveness. For the first time in years, the guilt inside her begins to fade, and that is where Emily's story comes to an end.